What's going on, guys? It's QuazyDog here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 things that I love about Google Stadia. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so before we get this list all kicked off, I do want to mention that this list is in no real particular order, and most of it will be based off my own personal experiences. There may be other things to love, there may be things to hate also in a separate video, but let's go ahead and kick this off with item number 1. Google Stadia's cost of entry. Now, at least right now, I know there's going to be a free option and we're going to talk about that, but right now, the real way to experience the full value of Google Stadia is having either bought into the Founders Edition like I did, that was upon the release, I believe in September if I'm not mistaken, or by opting into the Premier Edition, which launched shortly after. Now, either one of these kits did retail for $169 Canadian. I'm gonna put the US price somewhere down here as well. But this gave you a Stadia controller, it gave you a Chromecast Ultra, it also gave you 3 months of their Stadia Pro service, as well as a buddy pass to give to a friend to give them the Pro service for 3 months as well. And again, in the Canadian market, that entry of 3 months also gave you a savings of roughly about $36. Now, if we contrast that with what the entry-level cost is of either a PC or a next-gen console that will give you a similar gaming experience of up to 4K quality, $169 is immense savings. Now, once we get out of the paid-for beta, if you will, Google will actually release a version of Stadia that's completely free to play. It will be nerfed in the graphic fidelity a little bit. You're going to be able to play 1080p, 30 frames with 2-channel audio versus the 4K 60 frames with 5.1 audio, but you're going to have the ability to actually play that, at least right now, with nothing out of pocket on any smartphone that is Stadia compatible, or from a Chrome OS device, or a PC running a Chrome browser. To use the Chromecast Ultra, you will need a Stadia controller, so we're not going to factor that into the cost. But for either low cost compared to applicable hardware, or later on down the road free, the cost of entry is fantastic at potentially $0. Now, item number 2 is free games. And when I say free, again, there's a little bit of cost to entry here because for the most part, only the pro users right now on the Stadia platform will get their 2 free games every single month. These games do typically release on the very first day of the month, and so far they've been pretty good. People can argue Farm Simulator, but there's a whole esports league dedicated to that game, so I really don't think it's that bad. But it's nice, and again, yes, you have to pay for Pro service, but you also have to pay a premium for Xbox and for PlayStation and other competing platforms to get full utilization of their platform. So I don't really consider the Pro or the Premium membership something to factor into the cost when we talk about free games. Now, another way that I personally get free games, and you guys should as well if you don't do it already, is by opting in for the Google Opinion Rewards surveys. These surveys are based around your lifestyle. I get a survey, sometimes 2, every single day. It takes 30 seconds. Have you been here? Did you buy something here? Would you watch these YouTube videos? The questions are all kind of based around Google Maps or your purchase history or whatever the case may be. But at least in my neck of the woods in Canada, I'm netting anywhere between 20 cents and sometimes up to $1 per question, and I get at least a question a day. So this means I could make anywhere between $20 and $30 a month that I can then reinvest in the Google Play Store for Stadia games, and I consider those free games. So item number 2, free games. Now, item number 3 to love about the Google Stadia is just the overall platform support. Before Stadia, I was pretty much a console pleb. I've got this PC that I recently built and it's very capable of playing games, but I'm, for the most part, a couch gamer. Now, when my office used to be downstairs, I'd have to go downstairs, the kids would have to be asleep or occupied for me to get any gaming time in. And one thing that I find super awesome about Google Stadia is there's no console. There's a variety of ways to play. So if I have two Chromecast Ultras, one upstairs and one downstairs, I can actually just pause my game upstairs, resume it downstairs, and I'm not lugging power bricks and HDMI cables and a whole bunch of different things in multiple rooms. Or if I don't want to play on a TV at all, I can load up a Chrome browser and play on my PC, or even play on my phone. And speaking of phones, finally, as of February 20th, the recording of this video, Google has actually opened up support for more than just the Pixel devices. So beforehand, at least on the initial launch, it was really just, I believe, the Pixel 2, 3, and 3A lineups in both the regular and XL formats, but right now they've opened up pretty much every Samsung Galaxy device from the 8 on to recent, including the upcoming S20, the Note series from I think the 8 as well, and finally the Asus ROG Phone 1 and 2. So you guys can actually load the Stadia application on those Android smartphones, plug in an OTG, plug in your controller until it gets full Wi-Fi support, and now you have multiple ways to play your game without the need to buy multiple consoles, and that is pretty cool. Item number 4, we're just going to generally talk about the audio and the visual quality of Google Stadia. So, providing you're playing at least on a Chromecast Ultra and you have the Pro membership, again, I don't factor in the Pro membership into a lot of these equations because you have to pay for premium services on competing platforms, but you're going to get up to 4K 60 frames with 5.1 audio. And even later on down the road, you're still going to get 1080p and 2-channel audio when you go with just the free version. Now, one thing that I like about this is when we talk about how much it costs, again, with item number 1, with the cost of entry, for me, $170 to be able to play 4K 60 on my living room 4K TV is way cheaper than my PS4 Pro, than Xbox One S, than that computer right there, which I don't even have a 4K monitor to play 4K on there. So it's really, really awesome that we have the ability to see such graphics streamed directly to a Chromecast. And then again, 1080p on most platforms right now, but future growth is going to be very cool too, and that's actually going to segue us into the next option as well, or the fifth thing that you should love about Google Stadia. Now, the fifth and final thing that you should love about Google Stadia is the potential of future growth. So we're in kind of the waiting period right now for the PS5 and whatever the new Xbox is going to be called, and everything sounds super cool and super promising. We're gonna have more native 4K support. We're gonna have, up to 8K. But that requires me as the consumer to dish out additional hundreds of dollars to adopt that new platform. And when it comes to Google Stadia, you may have the opportunity through just software updates or very minor hardware updates to utilize maybe 4K 120 hertz or 120 frames per second if they release a Chromecast Ultra that supports HDMI 2.1. Or we might see, them render at 8K and downsample that on their side to 4K that will still work through the current Chromecast Ultra to give you a crisper 4K experience than even native 4K can be. And all of this could be completely out of pocket without needing to change every 4 or 5 years out of an old gaming console and into a new one. You're also not going to lose your game library. So everything that you've bought in on, whether it's free or you've actually paid for through Google Stadia's library, you're going to keep a digital copy of that, even if the publisher rips that off the store for any reason, whether it's due to licensing or something like that. They've promised that you're always going to retain that copy. And that's pretty cool because I have PS3 games that I can't play anymore. I have old titles that I'd like to jump into in the odd occasion, but I'd have to buy a remastered version for my current PS4. And with Stadia, I don't ever foresee us running into that issue. So That's pretty cool, and I really like that to cap off the 5 things that I think that you guys will really love and that I really love about the Google Stadia. If you guys agree with anything that I've said, please leave it in the comments below, and while you're down there, let me know something that you like about the platform if it's something that I haven't mentioned myself. And for all you haters, there will be a part 2 to this video with the top 5 things that I really don't like about Google Stadia. So if you want to check that out, I will have it linked up above in the cards, whichever side that is, and again, within the outro of this video itself. So until the next video, guys, my name is QuazyDog. You guys have been awesome, and we'll catch you all in my next video. Hopefully the Stadia one if you're watching. Stay tuned. That's not my outro. Bye. I can't remember.